I'm already tired. Hey guys, what's up? I know it's been a while since I've made a video. I'm sorry, but now there seems to be an abundance of time with the coronavirus issue. So I'm not working physically at my jobs right now. I've been working from home, and with my extra time in the day, haven't really been knowing what to do. And now I just decided, you know what? I need to make a video. Um, for this video today, I decided to do a terrarium. I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube about making terrariums. They seem pretty popular right now, and hopefully I know enough to make one. I probably don't, but it's okay. We'll do this together, and hopefully we can get through this, and hopefully it doesn't die. I'm gonna be using moss because that's what is available where I live right now. In my backyard, there's a little patch of moss for some reason, and nothing else is really growing. I live in Nevada. It's been snowing. It's been like warm some days, and then it's super cold other days. And so it was like spring hasn't been able to like get anything to come to life. Not right now, at least. So all I have to work with is moss. And so that's fine. I'm just gonna use moss. Moss is I feel like it's pretty hardy. It doesn't seem, I mean, it's been out there and like it snowed and everything and it's fine. So I think it'll be okay. It should be able to handle being in a glass container. So that brings me to my next point is, if you don't know what a terrarium is, I'm gonna explain it. You probably already know what it is. I mean, it seems like it's a pretty basic thing, but anyways, a terrarium is like a little contained ecosystem. Normally they're in glass containers, and they can be kind of big, they can be small, it doesn't really matter. They can be really, really tiny. I've seen them in like where you could like use it as jewelry. But for my purposes today, I'm using this glass old Prego sauce jar. And you just want, if you're gonna recycle something like this, you're just gonna want to like scrape off the label, make sure that you remove all the glue or whatever adhesive that's on it, and just make sure it's clean and ready to be used for your terrarium. And what will go inside that terrarium will be variations of small, low-lying plants. You don't want to use anything too big. I mean, you could theoretically, but it can overgrow. You'll have to like trim it and stuff. I mean, that's fine, but I'm just gonna go with something a little bit more easy to deal with. And then we will go outside and I'll show you what the other things we're gonna need for your terrarium. But first, there's some materials that you're gonna need, just kind of prepped so that way you can like put this all together. I got some utensils, a spoon and a fork, so that way once we like get everything, we can kind of like mix it around in there, like the soil and stuff and rocks. I have some chopsticks, so that way you can reposition things once they're inside your jar. I have what is wrong with me? I have a measuring cup, is what that is, with some water in it, and then a turkey baster. I am not going to be using all this water. I don't think that all this water is going into your terrarium. You're just going to use a small amount of it. I just have way too much. And because I'm using this turkey baster, it just makes it easier. You should probably try to use like a spray bottle or something like to that effect for yours, just because it'll make things a little bit easier. But if you don't, this is fine. You could even just pour some water in. Just be really, really careful, because you don't want to drown your whatever plants that you put into your terrarium, but you also want to make sure that the water is getting into the root system of those plants, so that way you're not just adding water and it's just going to waste. And then very last thing, I just have a container. You might need multiple containers and maybe even some ziplock bags if you're going out to hunt for some plants on like a wilderness trail or something. I'm just going out to my backyard, so I'm just gonna use this to scoop up the moss and any soil and rocks that I need. So let's go downstairs and we can get the moss. Here we are in my backyard. We're gonna go and find the moss. Hopefully you can hear me. It's really windy, so that might be a problem, but this is the moss patch that I was talking about. So here it is. It looks pretty healthy. And we just are gonna have to extract that carefully. I already, thankfully, I was really lucky enough to have some potting mix, and I also have some little rocks that I can use for this project. I didn't even realize I had this stuff still. If you have any of this type of stuff, then that's awesome. You can feel free to use it. But if you don't, you could totally just find the materials for this. Like right over here, there's some rocks, and I'm probably gonna use like some of these rocks. This is like just concrete, but you can find some small rocks that you can use. And if you go out on a trail, you can probably find some better stuff. So here I have the materials that I collected. So I got the moss, I got the soil, the rocks, and then the larger focal point rocks that will help with decorating the terrarium. What I'm gonna do next is kind of take a brush and start cleaning the moss off. There's like little bits of particle and rocks, and like any sand or anything like that, and this will just help make it look a little bit better once it's inside the terrarium. So just kind of take your time with this and just kind of clean it off. Okay, so now that we have everything that we need to make this terrarium, let's go ahead and dive into it and start putting this together. Starting off, I'm gonna use the small rocks and the soil to make a bottom layer. So this is what I've seen every time people have made these terrariums. They always start off with rocks at the bottom of their container. This will help with drainage, and so that way if you have any like somewhat larger plants or like the moss that I'm using, it just doesn't drown them, and there's a place for the water to collect at the bottom. You just want like a layer. It doesn't have to be really high or anything like that. It just needs to be enough. About, I'd say, like for this one, it's almost an inch. So that's a really good amount of space for the water to be able to collect in. And it looks like I had just enough rocks for that also. Okay, and then next, I'm gonna be adding the soil that I got. Thankfully, I already had potting soil. So if that's what you're gonna use, this is the time to use it in this process. Otherwise, you might have found some soil that was just like around the plant. If you found it just out in nature or whatever, that's really good actually. What I've seen is that people will use that soil or prefer to use that soil because it already has microorganisms that can help facilitate like keeping the terrarium clean. It helps with maintaining like mold and other spores and funguses from like growing. Kind of shift it and make sure it's packed in there, not like too tightly, but like at least enough. If you have any other small rocks that you want to use for decoration, go ahead and do that, and just like kind of leave them to the side, so that way you can kind of add them at the top later on once you kind of get the style of terrarium you want. I think I kind of want a little bit of like like a not a too steep of a hill, but kind of like an incline, a slight incline. I don't think this will fit. This rock does not fit. That's okay. I have other rocks that I can use. I think this one would be really nice. With maybe this one. And this is where the chopsticks come in handy. And then I'm gonna get my moss, and I have a lot of it. I'm gonna try to break it up into some smaller, easier to use pieces, just so that way it can be put in here in a more controlled way. Just be patient when you're placing your plants inside your terrarium. It can be a little bit tricky, especially if it's small. You can use other things to decorate your terrarium too. Like, it doesn't have to be just rocks. I just wanted mine to look a little bit more natural. But this is looking really cute, I feel. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I think we've got it. My hands are really messy. Yeah, this is obviously a messy process. So using this turkey baster, or hopefully you guys are using some type of squirt bottle or whatever, I'm just gonna carefully put this water in here. I'm just gonna drip it around. And that way it can get down into the soil, and it'll get the moss wet just enough. And then it can go down, and it will trickle down into the rocks we made down below, into that barrier. This also is good because it will help like clean any, like, if there's any like if there's any mud or anything that you got accidentally on the inside of your terrarium, the glass container, just kind of pour that on the sides, so that way you can kind of get it cleaned up. All right, I think that is enough. I don't want to over wet this. All right, so we pretty much are done. We added our water and it looks really great. I love how this came out. I'm gonna add the cap now. And now that it's sealed tight, you really don't have to open it. You might have to water it once in a while, but like normally you really don't. You shouldn't have to do that very often at all. I think it can last for like probably months without needing any like new water. I really love how this like granite piece came out. It looks so nice. It's just this nice piece of contrast on it. This is so cool. It was really easy to make too. Like, it's really not that hard to do. So that's it. That's how you make a little terrarium. Hopefully I made this right. Hopefully it was easy to follow. I think I explained everything hopefully well enough. It's so cute. I love it so much. It's super cute. I can't wait to like figure out where I'm gonna put this in my room. But yes, thank you guys for watching this. Hopefully I can make some more videos, especially since I have so much time now. So yeah, I'll see you guys again hopefully soon. Bye.